Hey guys, welcome back to Art a la Carte. And today I'm going to be talking to you about how to draw cartoon characters. Specifically cartoon characters that have already been drawn up and designed. Say they're in a movie or a cartoon show that you watch or a comic book or a video game. You just love that character and you want to learn how to draw it. I'm going to show you how to begin to work through that process. This isn't really a video on how to draw one specific character. I'll be doing videos like that later on, but I wanted to kind of give you guys a good foundation of how I go about doing this. What are some things that I do that help me to draw the characters that I really love? Now, as some of you guys know, some of my favorite cartoon characters are, of course, Disney. Love Disney. But how do I figure out how to draw these characters? Because I didn't design them, and there's tricks and tips on how to, draw these that, unless you're the designer and the creator of them, you may not recognize right away. So how did I do that? So I'm going to give you a couple tips on that. So tip number one is kind of simple and kind of a no-brainer, is to figure out what that character is. Is it human? Is it animal? If it's like a creature, what does it most resemble? You can attach your character to a base, like when I'm drawing Ariel. I mean, she's not a human in this picture, but she's a mermaid. But half of her is human, so I have a base to start off with. And so the first thing to do is to go back to the original anatomy of what that base is. So I go and I look at how the human torso, from the belly button up, how it works, how things are connected. Even though it might not be in the style that Ariel is in, I know how everything fits together. Second thing is to look at how the creators of that character draw that character. And ways to do that is to, if it's cartoon, obviously watch that cartoon, but also look at photographs and pictures and stills of that character. Sketches are great. There's a really great website that I found that gives just tons and tons of sketches on different cartoons. I'll put the link right here. I don't know that it's 100% family friendly. I haven't looked at all. It's huge archives. Has I think almost every Disney film in there, tons of Miyazaki films. But anyway, check that out, and you can look at just how they design that character and how the artist draws it out in their rough sketches. And then 3 is to imitate. Now a lot of people say tracing is bad. It isn't actually. It's not bad. What's bad about tracing is if you trace something and then you say, look at the picture I drew by myself. Because it's not your picture, it's a tracing, it's a copy of someone else's. What's good about tracing is you then learn how those lines flow. So get some tracing paper and print off some of those pictures, or get some books. Great ones to find is coloring books, if you have coloring books, because it takes all the color out and the details. It just has the basic lines. So some of you guys remember my My Little Pony video I did. I have these really cool My Little Pony coloring books that I use as reference because it just breaks the characters down into their simple shapes. So if you have coloring books of those characters, take a look at those up close and trace them or draw next to them and try to recreate. Imitation is a sincere form of flattery, but remember, a completely copied picture is not your original artwork. The fourth thing, I think is I've lost count. The next thing is to not be afraid to let your own style come through. Unless you are trained, it can be really, really challenging to get your art to exactly match the way that character is originally drawn. Even the trained animators who work in the Disney film industry have their own style. And if you look really carefully in some of the films, you can tell which animator drew which scene. If you look at Ariel, I can tell you which scenes Glenn Keane animated personally and which ones maybe he didn't personally animate. Don't be afraid to let your own style show through. So for example, my picture of Rapunzel. Yeah, she looks like Rapunzel, but if you look at her, you're going to say, yeah, that's not a still from the movie, obviously because it's not 3D. Or Ariel, you can say, okay, I can see when I look at her, that's definitely Ariel, but it's not Disney. Disney animator didn't do that. Or Tinkerbell. You can tell who they are, but there's something off on them. It's because it's my own personal style. And you can fight that, or you can embrace it. There are some artists who can just beautifully recreate Disney animated characters. They look like just boom right out of the film. And I just want to tell you that it takes a lot of practice and patience and a lot of dedication to work at that skill And so if you're one of those artists, good job for practicing. That's awesome. But if you look at fan art, you type in, you know, Ariel Disney's Little Mermaid fan art, and you're going to get tons and tons of images of people who do that. And you're going to see each one of them has their own little style and take. And you can fight it or embrace it. And I say embrace it. The last step is to not give up. When you're beginning to learn to draw a character, it may just not turn out the way you want to. And don't give up on it. I did this picture of Pocahontas, and to tell you the truth, when I first started it, I hadn't drawn a lot of Pocahontas before. And so when I started drawing her, I thought, and I almost decided just to toss the paper and forget about it. But I thought, no, I'm going to persevere and see how well I can turn it out. And so I kept working with it, and it came out, and you know, you look at it and you know it's Pocahontas. Do I see some flaws? Yeah, I see some flaws. But next time, I will remember those tricks and things that I learned in drawing her, and it will be better next time. And the more I practice, the better she'll get. Don't give up the first time, second time, third time, 20th time, even 100th time if you mess up. Because every time you do it, even though you might still think, I'm just not getting it, every time you're learning something every time. And there may be times where you'll draw it really good and then draw it again and it's just horrible. And you think, I'm never going to get it. I'm never going to get it. Don't give up. Keep going. That's the biggest thing. It just breaks my heart when I read sometimes some of the comments that I get from some of my viewers, and they try to draw one of the tutorials and they say, I can't get it and I wasted 10 pieces of paper. I have gone through so much paper drawing and practicing, and even now, there's things that I draw and I'm like, oh, that's not so good. And I could give up or I could keep going. So yeah, so those are the kind of basis of what I look for when I go to draw a cartoon character. I find out what their base is, I study the animators or creators of that character and how they draw it, and then I practice it. Practice, 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 practice. And allow myself to have my own style and not be afraid of my own style. If there's a cartoon character that you would like to see me draw, leave it in the comment box below and I will try to draw that for you. And it'll be fun if I know that character. Some people have asked for some characters and I have no clue who they are. Not the people, but the character. I don't have, yeah. If it's a Disney princess, I know it. Alright guys, thanks for watching and keep drawing. We'll be back with another video. And until then, God bless you guys. Bye-bye.